This life is so crazy. Just the other day, I was talking about how you were in control of your environment, and I was pondering myself how I could change my environment to the extent of getting around like-minded people who are also doing the same thing and trying to build online businesses in a way that, isn't aligned with the traditional path that I learned from college and even before then. And I literally just went to the gym to sign up for a membership since the one near me recently went under construction. And the guy that was signing me up for my membership, we started talking about what I did for work, and I asked him about his thing, and he told me that he was actually also self-employed and had a side hustle and in the online business space. And it was just so crazy that literally stepping into the new environment of the new gym immediately allowed me access to another human, another individual who was doing exactly the thing that I was mentioning. Now, it's not exactly the same type of business model that I'm pursuing, but even just to find people in real life, if you're not in New York or California, who do that type of work, maybe they're everywhere and I'm just missing them. But I think it's hard to come across those people unless you're in those big hubs. And so it's just very interesting how if you're seeking these types of people, these types of opportunities, if you're searching for something in life and if your mind is just constantly thinking about it, you'll begin to spot those opportunities in places where they might not have been so obvious before. Like if you are purposefully looking for red cars that are driving by, you're gonna start seeing them more and more and notice them more and more because that's what you're training your brain to look for. And so very recently, like within the past probably 3 to 6 months, I've been trying to retrain my brain to be more business oriented first. And that's not to say that I never expressed my curiosity in that avenue, but I was just never really around people that had successful online businesses. And that's probably the case for most people, and why online communities for those types of things are pretty popular, and like mentorship programs and inner circle groups where you pay a ton of money to learn and just be connected with other people who are doing that same thing. And I've honestly considered spending some money to join something like that, just because I think it will increase the level that I can operate at. And I not to say that I wouldn't progress without it. I think it would just occur a little bit slower because my mentors are just, Alex Ramosi or Dan Coe and people that I'm watching on YouTube, and I can't really bounce ideas off of them from my specific situation. However, I think in the grand scheme of things, if you're smart enough and have a little bit of intelligence, you can take their advice and adapt it to your own perspective without having to pay tens of thousands of dollars or having to be in the same room or on a phone call with them. And so that's how I've been going about it lately, and it hasn't been a bad avenue of doing so. Here comes a helicopter, and we'll see if I can keep recording through this. But all I'm trying to say is that the mentorship and the knowledge and just having somebody who knows what they're doing and who has done what you want to do is something that I've been seeking recently. And that's not an invitation to pitch your coaching service if you have one, but that's all that I've been looking for. And I think being able to find people in real life who are just doing it naturally in the wild is probably one of the coolest things, and especially since it is so timely with how I've already been searching for something like that. So you know, it's gonna be cool that I'll be able to see that guy at the gym since he's like the manager there, and get to just chop it up and workshop some ideas and maybe tap into his network, because he mentioned that he has a couple people who he talks to who are doing the same type of thing. And yeah, just kind of trying to expand the network without having to pay for it. Maybe that's just been the how I've gone through most of these things and gotten to the point where I am today, and why it's taken so long for me to get to where I am today is because I'm not paying for things. But I don't know, I still think finding them naturally and building your network for free is still a valid way of going about things, so that's what I'm gonna do. And yeah, I think that if you just start to realign your brain to be seeking the opportunities that you're looking for, it can be done. Like, you just have to obsess over it. And I guess that's not very helpful and practical advice. Just obsess about making a ton of money and you'll do it, or just obsess about starting a business and you will. Like, sounds impractical, to say the very least. But I think if you do it, and by obsessing I just mean like constantly thinking about that every single day, day in and day out, that's the first thing that you think about, and you think about everything in the context of online business. You know, it just will definitely shift your worldview and the opportunities that come across your day-to-day in a way that you wouldn't have if you weren't training your brain in this way. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.